a student is frustrated, you might want to just cut it back a little bit and just go with, okay, let's, instead of copying the whole thing, let's copy a little bit. And good afternoon. What is today? Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
I was going to say Thursday. That's weird.
Right. Look how tall we are in the camera. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. So today is question and answer. We've got a lot of question and answers. We're also going to do a little bit of a contest here as we get a little bit further to see who we can give 2,500 reward points to. We're willing to give 2,500 reward points in the app and 2,500 reward points in Facebook. We have two monitors, so Facebook and app are kind of like that. Okay, so we're going to just start rapid fire with the questions. I'm going to answer them as succinctly as
big
possible.
Words.
Succinctly. Yeah.
That's surprising. For
I sure hope that word.
GIF. Oh, I did that to myself.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say? I'm just not. It's awesome.
You best keep it. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Andrea asks, any idea on a release date for physics yet?
No, the manuscript is in house. We're working to have that available before the start of the 2020 fall school year, which is typically August, September. So hopefully July, August.
Awesome. Desiree asked, she said, I'm loving the virtual curriculum fairs. Will there be any virtual curriculum fair discount? Yeah.
Well, even when we go to physical conventions, the discount is the same as what's on masterbooks.com. We keep it the same so that it's fair for everybody. So the discount is the same as what you would get at a convention.
Okay, I got a few questions from Jessica, so we'll rapid fire these ones.
Okay.
Jessica said, when will you have all second grade books in stock?
What second grade books wouldn't? Oh, the Adventures in the Physical World is the only one that would probably be not available. Right? So yeah, I'm guessing that's probably going to be May. That's my guess. So.
Would it be possible to pre-order them?
Unfortunately, no. We did pre-orders last year, and it just didn't work out real well, and people got frustrated, and it's easier to save everybody the frustration.
Awesome. Are there placement tests for all subjects or just math?
Just math and language, and math is the readiness test, really. You're looking at the readiness test.
Other than the bundle price, do you guys offer any additional discounts? I was looking forward to visiting your booth at Rogers for the convention. No,
it would have been the same price. Would have been 26% off individual sets, 30% off 3 or more. If you order online, you get free shipping on any orders over $75, which most of the time, if you're buying 3 or more sets, you're going to get free shipping as well.
My friend Jess Kaiser in the app asked, will Stepping Stones be in stock? Do you know?
I believe it's supposed to ship from the printer this week or early next week, and so it should be in stock next week.
Teresa May said, can I get the app on my PC?
I don't believe so. I think the app is more for, it'll work on tablets and phones. I don't think apps will work on PCs.
Okay. Tara asked, how can we adjust the 101 Bible story days for language lessons? My 10-year-old son struggles extremely every time it's a day to copy and draw. It takes him very long and lots of tears and broken pencils.
Okay, so here's something good to know about copy work. Copy work isn't twaddle.
Another fancy word.
Yeah.
Good job.
I'm not going to give you a high five every time now.
Hey, you're the one who wanted it.
Copy.
I saw you were doing the convention live stream last week, and people kept sending, I don't know if you knew
that,
people kept sending trophies to you.
I deserve a trophy. Copy work there's a purpose for copy work. So if I have a book and I'm left-handed and I look at the book and I read, okay, in the beginning God created. Okay, 4 words to memorize. Then I come over here and I'm beginning to translate in the beginning God. Okay, so I'm not just copying, I'm actually working on memory work and brain development. I'm working on the motor skills from brain to hand. There's all kinds of things that are happening. If a student is frustrated, you might want to just cut it back a little bit and just go with, okay, instead of copying the whole thing, let's copy a little bit in making it, because they may not be ready for that. Some of that is a stamina issue. Some of it is it's a struggle because the memorization. And so I go to do 1 word and I'm already struggling. Right now, because not only in 4 words in the beginning, I also have to know how to spell all of those words. And so it could be extremely frustrating to do a whole paragraph for a student who's not emotionally or developmentally ready for that. So just scale it back a little bit.
Yeah. Stephanie over in the app asks, any tips for learning sight words for foundation phonics? My 5-year-old is great with phonics, but really struggles learning sight words, so he reads every word phonically.
Phonetically.
No, it doesn't say phonetically. It says phonically.
I'm modifying it because I'm kind of in a word mode today. Phonetically.
I know. Carrie Bailey was impressed with your twaddle.
Yeah.
And Krista sent you a trophy. Good job. So now that you're doing well, you don't need me or my affirmation. I understand.
All right. First I have to wait. Okay. First I have to address. Somebody said boo. That's like an angry face.
What?
Teresa May said boo. So I have to address the boo. Okay? There's a little app that you can get, a little cable that you can get to plug into your phone or tablet, and you can plug it into your TV.
Lifesaver.
We do it all the time.
We don't even have like a DVD player. We just
most of the time now, this is everything we have. We go and watch. You can watch Netflix or whatever.
We hook it up to the TV that's
right there
on the wall.
Yes. So even though we don't have that, please feel free to get an adapter for your phone. Okay, so what are we talking about?
It's huge on your wall.
Learning sight words. That's just practice. That's practice. You know, as you begin to read, there are just certain words that's going to click. The more times the brain goes over it. Think of the brain, I've explained this before, but think of the brain like this, okay? You have a field. Imagine this is green with big, tall grass. The first time you come to the field and you go through it, it's going to be a little difficult. Then you make that same path the next time, and then the next time, and the next time, and the next time, and the next time, and the next time. This is the neural pathways that the brain makes when you're learning something. And so the more times you do it, the broader this connection gets until it actually becomes a path. The brain just automatically goes down. So every time you're reading and practicing and developing, you're continuing to make these neural pathways. Don't worry about having to memorize everything. Like sight words is the reason we practice is we're making neural pathways. It's not necessarily to master as much as it is to just continue developing those pathways. So when it comes to sight words, practice, I think, is going to make is gonna help. Carrie Bailey is watching as well, and Carrie, you're in the app, and that question was in the app. Maybe you could add if you agree or disagree on that.
Another question. My son is in level 3, but he has ADHD and his reading is below level, but he understands all the work for grade 3. Do you have any recommendations? Because I literally have to sit with him to do all his work and it takes forever. We take breaks because he needs them, but he gets distracted so easily.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know the situation. So let me just throw out, these are like knee-jerk responses. It may not apply. Practice reading together, and let him read books that he's interested in to develop that skill. If attention span is an issue, is he playing video games? Is he watching TikTok or YouTube? Is he getting immediate gratification from like dopamine hits? It's difficult for students to do deep work when they're used to quick fixes in the brain. So when I'm playing video games all day long, right? Or I'm like, let's say I've played a couple of hours of video games every night, and then during the day you say, sit down and I want you to do schoolwork. Their brains aren't conditioned for that. Their brain is developed for a very, more of a stimulus response type of thing. In fact, as adults, some of us may know, I have a hard time sometimes, like if I'm on Facebook a lot in the group, managing the group, and then I want to sit down and read a book, it can be a struggle. I'll struggle to get through a page before I feel like I need to pick up the phone. So limit game time and TikTok and those types of things, because they can be very addicting, but then it gets hard to focus on deeper tasks, right? What?
Are you calling me out?
Do you feel guilty? I'm just asking. I'm like trying to get some affirmation, and you're
well,
avoiding eye contact.
My affirmation. I try to give you high
No,
fives,
I
and
mean
you're
affirmation
like, nope,
from not a high five.
My high five.
More of I agree.
You have my high five. I don't need your high five.
You were avoiding eye contact. You were guilty. So
because you were calling me out, totally 100%.
No, I called myself out first.
And me.
Well, it's true.
Well, now I've called myself out no matter what, so yes.
It's true. So in that case, yeah, that would be something that I would also be cautious of, especially young kids, because it's easy to say, yeah, you can play on my tablet. We do it all the time. We're traveling or life is busy and they're like, hey, can we play a game? And then they go to play a game. And before you know it, they've been on it for 2 to 3 hours. Well, the brain is being trained through that. Game makers work to make these games addictive, and they work to tap into the reward center of the brain. Unfortunately, math curriculum developers don't do that, which I don't think you want them to. But it's a different... It would be considered deeper work. Hopefully that all made sense.
Good job. Randy asked, when will the new U.S. geography be released?
That should be this summer. I would say June or July. It's almost done. Some of it's been sent to printers. It's a little harder right now with printers, and some of the materials that we have is printed overseas. And so it could just take a little bit longer for things to make it because of everything that's going on in the world. But our hope is to have it before August.
Aaron asks, is there a placement test for Jacob's elementary algebra?
No. Usually you would want to be through a pre-algebra course, like math, Principles of Math 1, Principles of Math 2, or pre-algebra to be able to do that. So they'd want to know the fundamentals.
Julia asks, when would the extra practice packages be available for first grade, at least the PDF version?
That's a good question. I know that everything is here for the design to work on it. Design is wrapping up a few things. Our office, some of us are here, some of us are working remotely because of everything. So things have been delayed a little bit from that.
Christy asks, are there any plans to complete grammar usage and mechanics curriculum for high schoolers besides Jensen's?
Not at this time. There's nothing on the sheet.
Laura asks, when is part 2 of the convention booth going to be covered?
Thursday. Kristen is coming down from the mountain, and we're gonna go over it.
It was a pathetic happy dance, but it was a happy dance. She's coming home.
Yeah, our family is in 2 homes right now because Kristen has what was it called? What do they call it? Well, because of the chemotherapy and the immune system, we're trying to keep her a little bit isolated from everybody, but I'm not very good at quarantines.
No, you keep going to visit.
I know.
So
I keep showing up.
But she's coming for a
She
little
locks
visit.
me out and won't let me in, but I won't give up.
She's knocking on the windows.
I'm the kid with my face against the glass. Please let me in. Please.
Okay, Daphne said, we are switching our history and science curriculum this coming up school year. We will be doing World Story 1 and General Science 2. We homeschool family style as much as possible. I will have ages 16, 13, 12, 11, 9, and 6. Remember those because I'll ask you them later.
13, 12, 11, 9, and 6.
Good job. So I was wondering what you would recommend for ages 11 down to stay in line with what the others are learning. There's a second part of the question, but I'll wait for you to do that one.
Everybody could do general science together. You might adapt it a little bit, but you could do those as family read alouds, discussions. What was the other course that they're doing?
General Science 2, World History 1 and General Science 2.
Yeah, you could do both of those. You could do the world history. World history or world story?
World history. Sorry, I'm like reading comments, so it takes me a second to answer.
Yeah, you could do World Story. You could probably even do World Story collectively as a family, more of as a read aloud, and have the students do the activity sheet. And the same with general science. Those books are fascinating, and you could do general discussion if you wanted to. It's harder when you do that. It requires more of the parent because you're going to have to adapt and adjust, but you could do that.
Lacey Davidson said that the word was immunocompromised.
Immunocompromised.
I was trying to read it. I was like, what does that say? Then, got it. And then Laura Weir-Smith says you just have to stay a llama distance away from her.
That's what she says. Yeah, but she likes fat llamas.
She likes fat llamas. I like fat llamas, I cannot lie.
I'm like, I like skinny llamas. And she's like, no. Like her llamas are elephant-sized llamas.
Well, and the little boys will be like, I'm like, get a llama's distance away from me. And they'll be like, llama side to side. I'm like, no, butt to head ratio. It all just depends on, your llama and what angle you're putting in between.
Yes.
You like sideways skinny llamas.
Yeah.
We are a sideways skinny llama apart right now. Okay, she said, her second questions. She said, is there a sample of the timeline packs on the website, and when will World Story timelines be available? You kind of hit that a little bit.
Is there a sample on there? I don't know. That's a good question. We probably need to get a little bit of a sample. There is a video that shows it. There's a YouTube video that shows working with timelines with America's Story, but I don't know that there's actually a sample. We'll have to check on that.
Vicky said, here is a large gator distance. Yours would still be a sideways gator. Judy asked, can introduction...
Flipped up on its side.
Flipped up on its side with this leg. I don't know what that was. Never mind. Judy asks, can introduction to anatomy and physiology be used for high school credit? I would use it as a precursor to biology or instead of. What about logic? I'm very happy you are doing the curriculum table. I was looking forward to seeing everything. You helped me make decisions. Thank you.
Yes, you could do intro to anatomy and physiology as a science elective or as an elective or as a credit. Yes. And logic you could definitely do as a high school elective. So both of those could be. And tomorrow or Thursday at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, we will finish science and electives.
Just said llama distancing sounds much better than social distancing. I agree. Llama distancing.
It's just not easy. Yeah.
It's not. Okay, Carrie asks, when do you expect the pre-ordered first grade language arts curriculum to be available? We are in the process of moving and don't want it to get lost in translation. Thanks.
The what level?
Language arts 1. So I'm assuming language lessons for living education 1.
That's available now.
He is checking his phone because, can I say?
Yeah.
Well, my brother and his wife, she's went into labor, so baby at any time. So
they're about to break her water.
Are they?
Yep.
So
waiting for the doctor.
He was sidetracked there.
I'm sure they wanted that to be announced, but
never
sometimes
mind.
we get used.
None of you.
No, my thing. My thing. We'll give you the play-by-play.
Tell any of you that.
Yeah, don't tell anybody I told you.
Don't tell them that we told you that. It's our secret.
Yes.
So, when will Language Lessons 1 be shipped?
Well, it's shipping now. Language Lessons 1 is in stock and shipping now.
Ariel said, my 9-year-old son has recently accepted Christ and I would like to get him something to help with his new journey. He loves to read. So are there any books you would recommend for a new Christian?
We have the book Begin, which is a scripture book. We also have the book Now That You Are His. I don't know that it would be for a younger one. How old is he?
9.
9? You know, you could do the Answer series for kids. That might have some good, it might answer some questions. If he's interested and has been saved, it might help him. I don't know that we have any discipleship courses for those levels outside of like More Than Words and our electives. And then elementary, if you get the series of Answers book for kids, you can actually do it as a course with elementary electives. There's a teacher guide for it.
Shonda asked, I just purchased the Master Book Skills for Language and Skills for Rhetoric for my soon-to-be 8th grade twins. Do you think both can be taught at the same time? I plan to teach Skills for Literacy for 9th grade. Also, is this the order it should be taught, and does it matter?
Those courses, I believe, are out of print at this point, but they're pretty ambitious courses. I wouldn't do 2 in a year. I would choose one or the other and just do 1 a year.
Random high five. You need it every now and then. Vicky asks, can you have a Q&A about homeschooling only one child? I am only homeschooling my 9-year-old daughter, and I feel that I get left out comparing to large families.
I'm sorry, Vicky. I only know homeschooling with a large family. I don't honestly know the challenge of homeschooling a single child.
Do we have any moderators?
I mean, sometimes you thought you were an only child.
But whatever. Whatever.
Yeah. Libby has just one student that she's homeschooling. So good, yeah.
I wonder if Libby's watching. Does Libby now know that she'll be doing a Facebook Live talking
about? Am I
about?
right? It's Libby, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know how many kids any of them have.
I'm pretty sure Libby has one.
So, perhaps.
Yes. So now, yeah, we'll get somebody to talk about homeschooling one, for sure. I'll write that down. Okay.
Good job. Stephen Melissa Cap said, love the virtual convention. You folks should do that every year for those of us who can't make it to a convention. I think it's a good idea. I
do think it's a good idea. I think we can enhance it even more in the future. I personally, in light of the world that we're in, one of the things that I say to my kids all the time is the world that we knew yesterday is probably gone, and we'll grieve it and move on. Libby, it is Libby. Yes, I was almost positive. I was drawing a blank. So Libby said she has one child, and she's happy to do a Facebook Live talking about
so
it.
Nice.
Isn't that nice of you, Libby?
Volunteer.
Yeah, we'll set you up.
We
Libby.
appreciate you, Libby.
We do. Good job, Libby.
High five.
So anyways, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities in the future. And I think one of them is that we're all getting used to being digitally connected. And that gives us opportunities as more and more people in the technology are there. We're stretching ourselves. We're looking at software and things to improve ways that we connect with people. Brittany and I are actually, one of the projects we're working on is kind of a virtual school, virtual co-op type thing. Don't tell anybody.
Because it's not official.
So we're seeing it'd be great to launch something like that before fall, where there's courses and whatnot, where at least videos to help provide some additional help. So
Libby said volunteer equals voluntold.
No, she told us. Is that what she meant? She told us she would be happy.
There was an earlier comment up there. I'm pretty sure that's what it said. It's gone now. It's too far up in the feed.
I can't see it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we appreciate. She was eager to volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure.
Love it. Will the timeline ever be available as a downloadable file?
It is, isn't it? What timeline?
Pretty sure.
Are you talking about?
This was a question from earlier, so that was from Desiree Adams. So if you're on there, if you could specify what timeline.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure they're all available, aren't they, as PDFs?
I thought so. Even the Adams is too, isn't it? I thought the Adams was even.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, when you go to the product page, there's a physical, but then there's like an ebook, and they all should be available as digital.
Will Master Books make workbooks for extra practice, math or writing?
Math, yes. Writing, nah. Yeah. I mean, some people will supplement by doing writing strands with language lessons for a living education. I don't think you have to. I think you can, but I don't think you have to.
Stacy said, what would be a solid 7th grade science? He's working through applied science this year in 6th. I know that generally a general science is given in 7th for most kids. Is there something equivalent or that would cover the same topics in Master Books, would there be fun labs to accompany it? Again, that's for 7th grade science.
Yeah, we really don't have the labs. If you've done the applied science, usually that would be 7th or 9th, so you've done that a little bit earlier. Look at Elements of Faith as a pre-chemistry course, or the General Science 1 or 2, or Anatomy and Physiology. Those would probably be my recommendations.
Laura Wiersma said, that would be a great live. I know some, including family, who only have one child and won't homeschool because of that. Thank you, Libby.
Yeah, I'd like to. Libby, we want your opinion on this.
Want you.
Yes.
Okay, Carrie Bailey asks, will there be more morning baskets? Are there any plans for a 10-minute Bible journey to, or something equivalent? Before you answer that question, though, Tiffany would like to know what a morning basket is.
Morning basket is kind of like books. You just have a basket and you have a bunch of books that are in it that you pull from and spend time kind of reading as either a devotional or maybe a coloring project. It's just something that collectively your family can kind of do together. I think there's a great video Anna did about morning baskets. We have the morning baskets that are already kind of done and available. One of the problems with morning baskets is we're limited by the books that we have and that we've published over the years, and we've kind of used some of our best morning basket books in a collection, but we do flash sales where you could build your own morning baskets pretty easy.
So do we have any new planned?
Anna has given me a list of like an animal morning basket that is brilliant. I just haven't sat down and made it work, so okay. I probably need to. And
then are there any plans for a 10-minute Bible journey numero 2?
Animal.
Gonna write that down.
Bible. Animal.
Animal. He literally wrote down animal.
Because you combined Bible with animal. That was animal. Okay. Animal morning basket. I said it.
Animal. You wrote down.
Okay.
Animal morning.
I can't do too many things at once. Okay, so is there going to be what?
10-minute Bible journey 2 or something equivalent.
Probably not. It's not on the slates right at the moment.
Is a combination of foundation phonics and language lessons 1 sufficient to teach your child to read?
Yes.
Mark and Julie asked, they said, we are new to Master Books for this coming school year. I have an up-and-coming 5th grader and I've purchased language lessons 5 and writing strands beginning 1 for her. I did this because she is behind in her writing skills. Should I do those together and get her caught up, or should I wait until 7th grade to start writing strands?
I would just go with language lessons for a living education. The goal is learning, not reaching a pinnacle of a grade number. So if she's learning and she's in level 5 and that's where she is, let her learn. Let her go at the speed. Maybe she can do it a little bit faster. But don't put pressure on her to get to a certain book just because it says number 7 on it.
Right.
That's my recommendation.
Jenna said, my special needs son is 6. He can count and knows his letters. I have tried to teach him how to read, but he just does not understand how to blend the sounds. I'm wondering if I should get him stepping stones. He has issues with motor skills also and can't really do anything that involves much writing.
How old is he?
6.
6? I'm gonna say you could do Simply K. I don't know that you would have to go to stepping stones. I mean, you could. That's going to be more of a preschool type course. It would really depend. But if he's already kind of no sounds and that, I just wouldn't push it. I would probably go Simply K. That would be what I would say.
Madison said, my 8-year-old is currently doing geography and cultures and retains the information, so would he be able to do the U.S. geography?
Yes.
Okay, I have questions on the app, and then when I find them, by the time I look down, somebody's already commented, so it pushes it down, so it's hard to keep up with. Laura said, are you doing Heaven and Earth for beginners, and if yes, when is the release date?
Yes, and it will be available this summer, probably June.
Can you please explain what right brain flashcards are and why they can't be laminated?
Okay, right brain flashcards are, okay, so have you ever seen the puzzles where they take a word like, I don't know, they just take a word and they scramble the letters and you read it, but your brain corrects it and puts it correctly? because your brain has memorized the picture of what the word looks like correctly. That's why it's so hard to proof books. Like sometimes people are like, I don't know why there's errors in books. It's because we have umpteen proofers, but their brains are busy, hire smart proofers. Their brains are correcting all these words. So that's one of the issues, right? A right brain flashcard is let's show them the equation already completed. And let's let them look at that. Let them say 2 + 1 = 3 and see the picture boxes. What that does in the right side of the brain is it creates a bank of pictures. So when they read 2 + = 3, the brain has a completed picture where it adds in the 2 + 1. That's a right brain. Why they can't be laminated? I think you could laminate them. Somebody said if you went over bigger than the actual card itself. We used a paper that has a matte finish, which means you could write on it, because one of the recommendations was letting the kids decorate their own cards if they wanted to. They could personalize the cards. So rather than using a glossy finish or a standard finish, we went with an expensive matte finish to be able to color it or customize it. So that's the reason that laminating it doesn't work as well.
High five. Good job. Linda said, I'm trying to figure out why I have something in my cart and now it says it is out of stock. I've been trying to get this book for months and I finally have it and it won't let me check out. I will send a photo of my cart. That was it.
With flash sales and clearance items, it's a first purchase, first serve. I think if you put something in a cart, it will reserve it for like 20 minutes or 30 minutes before it makes it available. Because we'd have people put, some carts run, it's crazy, but some carts run for like almost a year. So somebody could just take a bunch of product, put it in the cart, and then never check out. And the flash sales and clearance items are meant for high turnover. Okay, so if you've only got a certain amount of time to check out, just like if you go to, Black Friday sales and there's 20 deep fryers. The first 20 people to get it and go to the register and pay for it are the ones who get it.
Deep fryers.
Deep fryers.
Creative.
Air fryers.
He's like, very big words. Deep fryers. That was random, but that was good. There's 20 rolls of toilet paper left.
Well, that would be another one, right? Kind of the first people to buy the rolls are going to be the ones who get it. Yeah. So I understand the frustration, but unfortunately, because quantities are limited, that's why that happened.
Okay, kind of a bit of a long one. Ready? My second grader has always been behind in reading. He is currently working through language lessons 2, but is only on week 8 because he was only finally ready for it recently. Mm-hmm. Since language arts is so much of just circling back to the same concepts over and over again each year, what kind of approach would you suggest for him, helping him catch up or be on track? Or should I even worry about that? I skip some lessons knowing that they will be reviewed again in later years, and if so, do you have any insights as to which ones would be best to skip or at least crucial to cover?
Who asked the question?
Lisa Edwards.
Lisa, this is what I would suggest. I would suggest you just let him do the level that he's on and just let him work on it as normal. If he wants to do a little extra, reward him for that. I wouldn't worry about catching up. He's young enough and he will catch up. So what if it takes you to 8th grade to do language lessons for a living education all the way through this level 6? And then you go jump into writing strands for a composition course. It doesn't really matter. He's still learning the semantics of grammar, and he's going to learn to write. And the idea of catching up comes from the whole concept of industrialized education. We can give our kids individualized education, and that's what I would recommend. I would recommend if he's working and he's not fighting you and he's not melting down, just praise him for where he's at and help him to continue moving forward.
We got an angry face.
I got an angry face.
Popped up. So should we give an angry face?
It's probably because you said the word toilet paper. Are you sure it's not like that?
It did. There's a sad face too.
There's a love.
There's a weird. That's weird.
That was weird.
Emojis. I gave an angry face back, so.
She's her mother's daughter. Okay.
Road rage and Facebook rage. Amanda said, starting homeschool next year, my raising 5th grader hasn't had much history. What would you recommend him take for 5th grade history in order to be ready for the world history series for middle school?
You could do U-Report, the elementary history U-Report. That's not going to be an overwhelming course if he hasn't had a lot, but it will give him an overview. So that's one that you could do with that. And then, you could do America's Story just as easy. But I authored Elementary History U-Report, so I don't plug it very often, but it's a phenomenal course. It's a phenomenal course. It was nominated for like 3 Grammys. So. 3
Grammys, yeah. That's how Grammys work. So people are sending in the app, people are sending hearts. Anna sent a frog and toilet paper. I don't know what the frog face means, but thanks. Question mark. This one's a long one.
Okay.
Ready? This is from Vicky Henley. She said, my daughter is in 9th grade this year. I'm trying to understand credits. She has learning disabilities in reading comprehension, and math. I have everything figured out except for math. All of her work this year can easily be counted as high school level except for her math. We have her doing math lessons 5, which is where she tested. When she finishes it, she will do level 6. She can't get past basic junior high math, so her math now is trying to understand how to use the basics of fractions and basic math in real life situations. I don't know if she will ever be able to do higher math. I don't know what to call this on her transcript, and I don't know what to do for 10th through 12th grade. We tried principles of math, and she couldn't do it. I heard that remedial math, and I don't know if I said that right, and pre-algebra don't...
Remedial.
Okay, close enough. GIF, same thing. That remedial math and pre-algebra don't count as a credit. Our state doesn't have any requirements for high school credits. It is up to the parents, but I know that what I can do for her math credits when college and trade school may want algebra or geometry and higher.
So this is where we can be creative. All right. I know Vicky's daughter because she has done these amazing productions of Lego movies and is very creative and very talented. And I really like the work that she did. So I saw this question come in, Vicky, and with math, right, on a transcript, you could easily put Mathematics 1, Mathematics 2, Mathematics 3, Mathematics 4, Algebra, Mathematics, you could say Mathematics 3, Pre-Algebra, Mathematics 4, Algebra, if that's where she got to. Some diplomas, depending on the university, it might depend on how many math credits they want. Maybe 3 math credits would work, and so you could have a general math, a pre-algebra, and a business math or an accounting. Now, obviously that's not ideal, but for some students that would really struggle with the concepts of algebra, we have to be realistic. Chances are a student, I'm that student, so I'm going to speak like myself. I was never going to be an engineer. I was never going to be a physicist. What I was going to do was I was going to sell their books. That's what I was going to do. I learned to communicate. I learned to read people. I learned the science of how the brain works, and I've done that well in my lifetime. So when I say that is, for a transcript, what you're looking is to build a transcript that shows that she's had math. Once a student turns 15, they start getting credit. Regardless of where they are, they can start earning credit. So even, now this was many years ago, but it was in New York State when I transferred like 8.5, 8th grade, halfway into 8th grade. That's how I would say it. And I had learning gaps because I'd gone to the public school. And so some of those sent me back to like 5th grade. But I turned 15 and started earning credits. And that math that I was doing as learning gaps actually counted as math on my high school credits. Now I did get algebra, but I never got some of the higher maths. But we can be creative when it comes to college, because when you go to a community college, you don't have to have SATs. You do need a transcript, but you can start taking courses. In fact, she could take dual enrollment courses. You could start with something like, while she's in high school, just dual enrollment with a local community college or an online school like Liberty maybe, and get her into the system, so to speak, so that she's getting courses. I took the liberty of calling Full Sail University. Now, I don't recommend Full Sail. This isn't an endorsement for them. But they have a digital cinematography course. Cinematography course. And they offer bachelor courses. It's I think it's like $80,000. They wrap the course up in 20 months. And they train people for video production and everything that she would be gifted in. I even called them today. And I said, I'm calling on behalf of a student who's maybe interested in attending your university. I'd like to ask you about your admissions requirements as far as diploma goes. As long as she has a high school diploma. They said high school diploma or GED, doesn't matter. And if you were going to go into gaming or something like that, you actually have to have at least the equivalent of Algebra 2. But if you're going into like theater, stage production, cinematography, that wasn't a requirement. And so a big part of that is looking at where might she go? What kind of trade school would she go to? Or what kind of university would you want? Just what is the requirements that you would need for that? So hopefully that's a little helpful and encouraging. We're not offering legal advice. I'm not telling you what to put on a transcript. That's something you would want to check with, hslda.org and whatnot. But we're creating an individualized education, and the transcript that we have, you can kind of tailor it to the needs of the school that they're going to be attending.
Carrie Bailey said, okay, you really deserve a trophy. Talk about going above and beyond. She sent a bunch of trophies. Good job for calling.
Wow.
Take the next step, doing that.
Well, it's not that hard, actually. You go to the website, and there's a phone number. And so I had to dial the numbers. There was 10 numbers, right? I dialed it wrong the first time, so I dialed it again. And then I spoke to some kid who picked up the phone, wanted to know, and then we just talked about it.
Don't downplay how amazing you are.
I know Liberty University
Accept the trophies.
has, and a lot of them have online programs, so you can do it as dual enrollment. Like you could, Liberty has a communications course as well, and you could do start that in high school as dual enrollment and get her into the system.
Right.
Okay.
Tiffany asked, she said, I'm struggling to pull trigger in language arts levels for our kiddos. After looking at the sample pages, they look way too simple in some parts, but other areas, not so much.
Some of it is review, and some of it is reinforcement, and then some of it's going to be new learning. So, it's best to look at the readiness test and place the student, and then trust the process. You can always adjust. They're not overly expensive. If you get into it and find out, wow, this, some courses over the years, we could have spent a couple $100 on a course. In this case, we're talking 30 something to, if you have to make an adjustment, you could.
Julie said, I want to ask about Writing Strands. For what age is it recommended? And the Writing Strands Teaching Companion, you mentioned it in the Thursday video, that any mom can benefit from that companion to help her teach language arts. For which grades would it help? I'm thinking if it would be beneficial to buy it now and read it, or if I can easily wait until middle elementary.
Yes, I would say with the teaching companion, the people that I know that have bought it and read it have said it's amazing. It will work. It will help you with any language course you're using. Even if you just buy the teaching companion and have them write reports, it's going to help you in how to teach them to write. So that's worth it, and I would buy that now before you start the course. Ages, it's designed for grades 5 and up. It's skill-based, so it really depends on the student's skill levels. If they need to be at a beginner level, even if they're in 10th grade, let them do the beginner level and accelerate the way through it. Otherwise, place them accordingly. And does that answer all the questions?
I think so.
Okay.
This one I need to go back in and type an answer, but Christy said, in long division, does the divisor number mean groups or the number in each group?
Okay, so I've already said in this video that math was not my strong point.
So we'll answer this after. Maybe Angela
If there's somebody,
Odell.
if there's somebody in the group who knows the answer to that question.
Well, I know Angela Odell hopped on the live stream, so
Okay, maybe she could answer it.
Yeah, that's on the post that we posted this morning where people could jump on and ask questions. Angela, if you're there.
Yep. If Chris were here, it'd be pretty easy because I'd say Chris loves doing that to me.
True. Ashley said, I've asked questions a few times, finally ordered curriculum for my 7-year-old. I'm amazed at how much better her attitude has changed in just a matter of a few days. I literally cried tears of joy. I don't currently have a question. I just wanted to say thank you. I took a chance and purchased Foundation Phonics. She's actually enjoyed reviewing.
Yay.
And sent a heart.
That's exciting. That's why we do what we do, right? Because learning is fun. It really is. And school stinks, but learning is fun. And not everybody believes that, but I certainly did. And as I've been an adult and I get to learn, like how many books do I have going at one time? I got books scattered all over the house and I just can't get enough learning. But I sat for hours on detention in school because they just made it so painful. And our goal is really to help you as a parent win, to help the student win. And so many times I have these posts come up that say, oh my goodness, my kids are actually retaining this information and now dad is talking about it and grandpa's talking about it and the whole family's engaged in wanting to learn. That's what we do. We learn, right? God gave us this amazing capacity for growth. I love that because we grow and we grow and we grow. And at 50 years old, I'm still growing and learning. And so as we can continue to discover all about his creation and the wonders of and the mysteries that he's given to us, that's amazing.
Yeah, and that's something I've always appreciated from him is that he's always had this quest for knowledge. Like he's always thirsty for knowledge. He's always working to learn things and do things. And like growing up, you had kind of gone on like this thing to like learn about yourself and as much as you could about yourself and people and the way people interact and everything. And so like that encouraged me to do the same. So I think some of it too is like to be that and set that example for your kids. Like when you have a love of knowledge or a thirst for knowledge, that you're also sparking that into your children.
Yeah, in fact, I see that in the group sometimes where a book will come in and the mom or dad will get excited about what they're learning and suddenly the kids are going to model that because we get what we lead. So that's like a beautiful way to model learning. So, yay, thank you for that. Thank you for that comment.
Elizabeth said, I'll have a 4th grader and a 7th grader in the fall who will both be using Master Books for all subjects for the first time. Is there an elective that they could do together? Would you suggest just morning basket as a together activity? We currently do science and history together, but I've opted to let them pick their own science this year in hopes that they'll get more out of it. So 4th and 7th.
They could do the elementary apologetics using the Answers for Kids series. They could do the More Than Words series, or you could do Elements of Faith as a morning basket. That's a great solution. Elements of Faith is remarkable. It can be used as a pre-chemistry, so you could write it as a pre-chemistry, but it's also incredible enough to be a devotional, and you'll get tons of information on it.
Aw, Anna sent me a trophy.
Anna won't give
Thanks,
me trophies.
Anna
Won't give me trophies.
I appreciate
Anna
that.
gives me frog faces.
Anna gave me a trophy. Hold that over your head. Linda said, this is the last one on the original post, and I'll go through and do some live ones. Linda said, World Story, what are your thoughts? Could a child in 5th grade reading level do it?
What? Curriculum?
World Story.
World Story? Could a
fifth
child
grader.
in 5th grade? Yeah. Yeah. Just be aware that some of the topics may be a little bit sensitive, and you may want to proofread ahead beforehand.
Okay. Addison said, I don't think I've asked this yet. My 8-year-old is doing geography and cultures and retaining the info. So do you think he could probably do the new... I did ask that question.
Yes.
Sorry. Christina said, I ordered during the big sale and switched all of my kids to Master Books this coming year. Yay. When I ordered the Language Lessons for Living Education 6 was not available, so it came with writing strands. Should I just do one of them or both?
I'd probably recommend just one or the other. So depending on what you're comfortable with, going in that direction.
Okay. Kelly asked, can the God's Design series be done independently for a third grader doing life, not beginners? What about fifth grade doing chemistry?
Third grader can do life. I don't know that they could do it completely independently because the course is serious. It does have different tracks for older students, so she would do the earlier. As far as fifth grade doing chemistry, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. But I think that they could. And some of it depends on your students and how well they work independently as well.
Awesome. Don asked, how should I approach my 9-year-old reluctant reader? She can read and comprehend very well. She just doesn't care to. She likes me to read everything to her. I would love some suggestions to help her become more independent. Thanks.
At that age, it can be difficult. I would go back to make sure that there's not, too many games and stuff like that. I would do practice, finding books that she was interested in reading to develop some practice with reading. Reward the behavior you want. Switch reading paragraphs. And when she reads you a paragraph, make a big deal about what you just learned from what she read. Don't be like, let's check it off the list. If she reads you a paragraph about a fascinating fact, kind of draw it out and say, wow, that's amazing. You did a great job reading, by the way, because I do that with Brittany all the time here. It's like, you did a great job with this. And wasn't it neat how that happened? And then that helps reinforce the emotional bond as well as reinforcing the behavior I want.
He does it a lot. And I know he's doing it, but it still feels good. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm actually good at this. I didn't ever realize I was good at this. I'm like, this is what I want to do with my life now.
It works.
Every single time.
It works.
Elizabeth Ash said, my son picked Elements of Faith for Science this year. Should anything be added to it?
I'm sorry, what was that?
My son picked Elements of Faith for Science this year. Should anything be added to it?
I don't think you need to. I mean, it would depend on your student, but it's set up for a year.
Crystal asked, for second grade, do I buy more than just the 4 common subjects, just the teacher keys or flashcards?
Well, yeah, the basic 4 is your basic, right? Math, language, social studies, and science. We would recommend an elective, a Bible elective, or maybe another science or history elective. You decide. The minimum that you should do, we believe, would be 4 subjects.
Anna said Britt does it to me. Oh, positive reinforcement.
Oh, you would give her rewards?
I give her. Because we do appreciate Anna. Anna does a lot.
We do.
If we knew the number of tickets that Anna does in a week, it's insane and it blows my mind. And I tried to do customer support and I was not very good at it. So I appreciate Anna.
Mine was even worse because Anna's been working with us since I think there was like 2,000 people in the Moms of Master Books. She was one of the first moderators to come on and actually help. And she has been a godsend. But one week I had to do tickets and we had a customer rating system. And Anna had this really good customer rating, and then I did tickets for 1 week, and it tanked. So, yeah, we appreciate Anna very much.
Yeah, a lot.
She could be nicer to me.
She could be nicer. She sends you a frog face. It's better than nothing. Yeah. I got a trophy, but that's nothing. Susie said, did the new Let's Talk Science come out this month and sell out right away, or was it just pushed back to restock in May because of the virus? It
was pushed back. Yeah, our office got separated, so we're sorry, but it's just been delayed.
When will elementary apologetics include books 7 and 8?
That should be pretty quick. I know they're working on a teacher guide for that.
Kim asked, other than regular reading, what can I do to improve my 8-year-old's reading fluency?
Yeah, I say practice. I mean,
reading out loud too helps.
Reading out loud. I think
we used to do this thing growing up, where we would choose a book. You guys would choose like a missionary book or something.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times you would read it, so it'd kind of be like a morning basket type thing. But sometimes he would read it every night, kind of before bed, or we would take turns reading it. So like one night I would read a chapter out of it, another night my brother would read a chapter out of it. and I think that helped a lot too.
Those were pretty fond memories. I don't know. It's hard to do it because you got to get everybody together and read, but right now would be a perfect time to grab a book.
Because you're all together anyways.
Yeah, throw your phones out on the front porch and then read.
Would Writing Strands Intermediate be a language art credit by itself, or does Jensen's need to be added?
No, Writing Strands would be. It's set up for a 36-week course.
Cool.
1 week reading, 1 week writing. So.
Go back through. Our autistic daughter is in 10th grade and she can't handle algebra. We are focusing on practical mathematics, life skills, and mathematics. We might try statistics in 12th grade, be creative, and try not to stress about it too much.
Statistics can be pretty intense. So if you're mathematically minded, it's not. But you can do consumer math or business math. That will count as a math credit. And consumer math is stuff like having a budget, balancing a checkbook, calculating interest on a car payment, that type of stuff. So those are good alternatives for students who struggle with math.
Would you guys ever consider making a grade 7 and up language arts, like language lessons for living education?
Maybe at some point, but the author of that series is mom and wife, and right now she needs a break. And then there's a question about More Than Words 3. More Than Words 3 is it's with the editors. It hasn't quite gotten to the project stage, so it's not on the sheet yet for that, but it is. I know it's with the editors.
Follow-up question on the Writing Strands one. Would it be 2 credits if she does Writing Strands and Jensen's?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
I think that is that I coming through.
Daughter-in-law's water has broke. Shouldn't be long. There should be grandbaby Pratt feet on the floor soon. That's pretty cool.
It is. Well,
hey, so guess what? It's Brittany's birthday tomorrow. Brittany was hoping that her niece was going to be born tomorrow, but it doesn't look that way. It looks like she's going to be born today. So she will. Okay. Yeah, that'd be nice. So here's the deal. We'd love to know April birthdays. Anybody, we have the day in mind. If your birthday falls tomorrow, if you have a tomorrow birthday, or the closest that we get, Brittany's going to choose 2,500 reward points in the app closest to April 8th. And tomorrow in Facebook, closest to April 8th or on April 8th. So that's what we're looking for. April birthdays. April 8th will be the winner or the closest to.
And if we have several April 8th birthdays, then I will choose one of them. I know Jennifer White's birthday is also tomorrow. So if you're watching, happy birthday, Jennifer White.
Yes. I got a 9th.
April 9th. Thank you, everybody, for the happy birthdays. My sons are April 25th and 30th. His is the 28th.
Yep. We have a lot of April birthdays. A lot of a late April.
April is the best month to have a birthday. April 21st.
There's the 15th. April 6th. Got an April 6th.
April 9th was the one closest so far. Another 6th.
We got one in the app and one in the Facebook Live. So.
Oh, yours was April 1st. No joking.
No joking.
I've always wondered what it'd be like to have a birthday on April Fool's. April 12th. Happy birthday to Olivia on April 12th. Happy birthday to all of you April birthdays.
Yes.
Here at the press, we have so many April birthdays. So typically when somebody has a birthday, they'll call everybody to the break room and they'll have cake or some sort of a dessert and whatever. And they'll do it one celebration for each person. But once April comes, we just do one big lunch because we have so many birthdays here that it's...
Yeah, but Tim's birthday is April. His is in April too, and usually all the rest of the April birthdays are kind of shadowed.
Yeah, a little bit. That's okay.
James is back and his birthday's in April, so now there's even more.
Yeah, gotta fight for it.
A lot of April 6th. That's like the closest that we've got, and an April 9th. Awesome.
So I'll jump back in on the app and
okay.
somebody reward points.
So keep an eye out. Brittany's going to choose somebody, the closest one that we get. And hey, thank you for all your questions. And guys, we are praying for your families in this season. And you know, it's a interesting season, but I believe God is going to do something really remarkable. So yeah, we're excited. We watch with intrepidation.
Wow. What's up with all these big words?
I don't know.
They just keep flowing and coming out.
Last Thursday, I couldn't think of any.
So you're
last Tuesday, I'm trying to make up
for it, going above and beyond, making phone calls for people to answer their questions and using big words.
I know. Well, and then I've even had to answer some phone calls this week, so it's been amazing. So
awesome.
All right, guys. Hey, God bless you. Have a good rest of your Tuesday, and be sure to tune in. Be sure to tune in on
Thursday.
On Thursday,
at 3, right? Are you doing 3?
And at 3. Yep, Kristen will be there at 3. And
second part of the booth.
Yes.
Virtual.
Ooh. Hopefully it's warm down there. So, okay, guys. God bless you. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.